Hi friends, my name is Debbie, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be painting this beautiful paradise ocean scene. I'm going to put the picture in the description below in case you want to follow along. And for paper, I'm going to be using 100% cotton paper, Paul Rubens palette set. And just to remind you, I do not paint realistic. This is just a reference photo to get me inspired. So let's jump in and get started. So we're gonna start off by putting the sky first. We're gonna go really light on the color. This is my light blue from this ocean palette. I have a review on this one, so please go ahead and check that video. I'm using a lot of water, not too much pigment. I want to make sure I'm gonna start light first, and then we can add more layers and more colors to our paper. So really light, lots of water. And then we're gonna pick up some of the paint and we're gonna put it on the sky. We're gonna blend this color all the way, and we're gonna put some clouds, kind of like almost the horizon line. We're gonna be using a napkin to pick up some of the pigment, just to give those clouds a little bit more of the fluffiness. And really simple, just wrinkle your napkin and use some of the napkin to pick up the extra paint. So as you can see, I'm putting my light blue on this part of the sky, and we're just gonna focus for now on the sky. I'm picking up with my napkin, as you can see, really simple, nothing crazy, and I'm just using the tip of the brush to apply the color on the paper. If you don't have this quilt brush, please go ahead and use a round brush or any brush that you have at home. This is really simple. I'm just making circles and with the tip of the brush, picking up water as I go. Sometimes I pick up just water and sometimes I pick up some of the paint. But we want to make sure the first layer is really light, and then we will be adding more layers to it. Now I made a mix of my shadow color, which is ultramarine blue, and some of my burnt sienna. Really light on the color. This is 50%, 50%. And we're just making those circles underneath the blue part that we already put on the paper. And this is gonna give you this beautiful, fluffy clouds that you see on the sky. And it's kind of like a rainy day, because the clouds, they have that grayish inside, and then we're gonna be adding some purple to it. It's gonna make it even more beautiful. Make sure you blend as you go. Do not put too much paint in some areas. We want to make sure everything is nice and blended. If you're not getting the blending that you want, you can always get a napkin and just wipe off any excess. Again, I'm going back with the same color. I make the mix of my purple, and I'm just going in circles. Really, really simple. Use the tip of the brush to make those tiny little circles, and because the paper is wet, the paint is going to move. It's going to bleed, and this is what we want. We want to blend some of these edges on top, and if they're not blending for you, just pick up your paper towel again and pick up some of the paint. Any excess paint, you pick it up with the paper towel. And if your paper is dry, you can always add some more water to it to remove some of the extra paint. As you see in the reference photo, the clouds are more concentrated on the horizon line, and that's where we're going to be placing them. And just apply as many layers as you want, and make sure you blend it. Every time you apply more paint, you blend the colors. We don't want hard lines. We want everything to be nice and soft. So just wiggle the brush in circles, getting some of the excess paint in some areas, and just try to blend as much as you can. Then we're gonna move to the sand, and then for this one I'm using my yellow ochre. A lot of water. I would say 90% water, 10% color. We want to keep it really, really light. And then for the rocks, I'm going to be using a mix of yellow ochre. We're going to be using sienna, burnt sienna, raw umber, and burnt umber. And also Payne's Gray for some extra something, some more details in there. So for now, we're applying the lightest color first. Then we're going to be dropping in some areas. Some areas is going to have some of the burnt umber. Some are going to have burnt sienna, just to give those shadows and highlights to your rocks. The more random you put your paint colors, the more organic and natural it's gonna look. I'm gonna show you how to make rocks. There are many ways of making rocks. This time around, I'm gonna be using different colors of browns, and then I'm gonna be using salt. The salt is gonna give you this beautiful effect, like snowflakes. It's gonna remove some of the paint and it's gonna give you beautiful highlights. But you can also use something sharp. I use my like a credit card. I cut a piece from the credit card, and I just use the sharpest part of the card to remove some of the paint. That's gonna give you beautiful highlights, and then you can apply some more of the shadow colors inside the rocks. And I'm moving to the other side with the rocks. Same technique. We're just gonna apply the light color first, and then we're gonna be adding the shadows in some random places. Just picking up some of the burnt umber, some of the raw umber, some of the Payne's Gray. Just put those darker colors in some areas. We don't want to cover the beautiful light color that we have underneath. We want to keep that color under, and then we apply the shadows on top. Please don't forget that I'm also on Instagram, so follow me on Instagram under the same name, Debbie's Art Journey, and check out that channel also. I'm just lifting some of the paint. Sometimes when the paper is too wet, the paint bleeds too much, and we want to keep some of the highlights. So that's when you do some lifting, which means you're gonna clean your brush with clean water, wipe off any excess water, and then you come back to your paper and remove some of the paint. I'm adding some salt. We're gonna let the salt dry 100% before you remove the salt. Otherwise, you're just gonna scrape off the paint, and we wanna make sure the paint stays on the paper. Add in the salt, let it dry 100%. So for now, we're moving to the other side. We're gonna wait on that salt to dry. And I'm putting this is my shadow color, which is Payne's Gray and burnt umber. And then I'm adding just a touch of red to give some kind of purpley color. And then for the bottom piece, I put my burnt umber, adding some salt again for more effects. And we're gonna put this salt, let it dry, and we move on to our next side. For this one, we're doing the same thing. I'm applying the darker color first because this one is further down, so I see darker colors in the back. And I'm just adding some yellow ochre with cadmium yellow, dropping some of this pigment in some areas, and then I'm putting some shadows with my burnt umber. Just using the tip of the brush to put those shadows in there, making sure they're not straight lines. And then for this part here, I'm using my credit card, just bringing those highlights back into your rocks. As I said before, you can use this technique or you can use the salt. I decided to use both because I feel like I needed more highlights inside the rocks. So I did the credit card first to remove some of the paint, and then I will be applying some of the salt. Really, really simple. Just use the tip of your credit card and remove some of the paint. It's gonna give you these beautiful highlights that you see here that I'm making right now. So really, really simple technique, and it gives you beautiful textures. Also, don't forget to check out my Etsy store where I have a lot of my paintings here from my YouTube channel they're really affordable, so please go ahead and check it out. And then we're gonna be placing those palm trees or leaves. And for this one, I did a lot of mixes of greens. So we're gonna have light greens, we're gonna have medium greens, and we're gonna have darker greens. I'm also gonna have some of my green mixed with my brown, just to give you this beautiful earthy color. And it's just make your palm trees look more natural when you apply different hues of greens, and also when you add some of your browns into the branches, just make it look more organic, because some of the branches are going to have some dried leaves. So when you apply that brown color in it, it just make your plants look more natural. Now I'm using the tip of the brush because I see some of the kind of like trees in the back. These are not part of the palm trees. This is just normal trees that you see at the beach. So I'm just using the tip of the brush, and I'm just moving in different directions because we don't want the leaves to be the same size. We want different sizes, different angles. So make sure you move your brush around just to give some more definition to your branches. There, we're gonna do this for a while, bring in some of the shadows, and then we continue with the palm trees. And like I said, really simple, just use the tip of the brush to make those beautiful lines for your palm trees. And remember to put your light color first, then your medium color, and then your shadows, which is the darkest green. Then for this part here, for this tree, I'm using, this is a round tip, and I believe it's number 4. And I'm just using the tip of the brush and moving my brush in different positions. That's gonna give you different sizes of leaves, and it's gonna make your plant look more natural. So for me, I just flip the page. It's the easiest way to get around it. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but to me, it's the easiest way to paint. And I'm just using the tip of the brush. Really, really simple. There's no stress in this. This one is stress-free completely. And then I see some of the leaves on top of the rocks. There's some branches hanging in there, so that's what I'm trying to put on this side of the painting. And again, just move your brush around. That's gonna give you beautiful, beautiful leaves. Different sizes, different positions, and it's gonna give you like a movement effect. And this is just my sap green. Then I'm gonna be adding sap green with cadmium yellow, and then sap green with some of my ultramarine blue, just to give a darker color. And putting those leaves in random places. We don't want consistency. We want everything to look more natural. And this painting is going to be lots of layers, especially for the water. So you can do it really simple and 2 layers if you want, or you can add more details. This is your painting, you make it your own. I'm just giving you an example on how I would paint this, but you can put as many details as you want. Also, I showed you how to do the palm trees, and I'm gonna be putting more palm trees on the other side of the painting. So I'm just gonna speed up the process. It took me about an hour and a half to do this painting because I like to do details. So I don't want you to be watching the same technique. I'm just gonna go through the palm trees really quickly, and then I will be showing you how to do the water, which is a little bit more complicated. So I'm just adding the sap green with some cadmium yellow, bringing those highlights back into the bushes, and just placing those colors in some areas, keeping some of the highlights and some of the shadows. Now I'm using a liner brush. This brush is super beautiful. It just gives you these beautiful branches every single time, and it's the easiest brush to use. It has a long tip, so it wiggles as you go. You don't have to work too hard. It's just give you those perfect branches every time. You don't have to buy one if you don't want to, but I use this one all the time, so if you want to buy it, I would recommend this one. But if you don't want to buy it, please go ahead and use a really thin brush, maybe a number 0 or number 1. That's going to give you the same kind of branches. Just wiggle your brush when you're putting them on. We're going to continue with the palm trees. I decided to make this one here longer. I see that one in the picture is pretty long, so I'm just bringing more of the leaves on this side of the painting. And I'm just using the tip of the brush, making those lines for the palm trees. And like I said, we start also with the light color, and then we're applying the medium and the darker green. Now I'm adding some of my cadmium yellow, bringing those highlights back into the painting. And then I'm using my brown mix. It was the green and my brown, and just making those beautiful colors mixed together. As you can see on my palette, the green and the brown just make a beautiful natural color. And we're just making those marks as we go, making it really nice and organic. Super, super simple. And you can put as many branches as you want. I'm just going with the picture. Whatever I see on the picture, that's what I'm trying to do. But you can put as many or as little as you want. Same on this part of the painting. There are 2 palm trees here, so I'm just adding those into the painting. Same concept, putting the sap green first, then the medium green, and then the dark green. Don't forget to remove the salt from your rocks. You don't want to paint on top of the salt. Make sure you remove that before you paint. And then for this part here, I'm just adding the sap green with cadmium yellow, light on the color for this part of the mountain. And then I'm adding my sap green by itself, just to give some shadow to the mountain. Just some areas. We do not want to cover the light color. Just on the bottom, that's where the shadows are going to be. And adding some darker color all the way on the bottom. Then I'm adding this part of the greenery on the mountain or the rocks. And this is just my sap green with lots of water. Really, really light. Put in some salt for some more effects. And we're gonna let that dry. Then for this part here, I'm adding a turquoise. And this is from this palette. This mini palette is for the oceans. And then I added some water, trying to blend this all the way down. And we're gonna be adding some more water because the closest it gets to the sand, the lighter the color is gonna be. So sometimes I just add water, and then we're gonna keep some of that lighter color in the front because we're gonna be adding the foam, so we want a lighter color in there. Then I'm applying some of the leftover sand color that we did before, and just to this area. Make sure you blend that. Perfect. I also put some sprinkles on the sand. I did it with my splatter, but you can use a toothbrush. It's going to give you these tiny little dots, and it's going to make your sand look more natural. I'm adding some more paint to the water. As you know, watercolor dries lighter, so you're gonna have to do few layers on your water because it's gonna dry lighter than what you see at first. So I did about 3 or 4 layers on my water, and I'm just using the turquoise from this palette. And if you don't have turquoise, all you have to do is get green and blue and mix it up, and that's going to give you this beautiful turquoise color. I'm going to add some of my blue all the way in the back where the horizon line is. That's where your darker color is going to be. Always your darker color is going to be in the back where the horizon line is. And then you're going to blend it. And then you're going to add more turquoise to the water. And blend it. Picking up some more water, blending all the front. And then I'm adding a second layer to my sand. It's the exact same color as the previous one. And then I'm adding some more texture to my rocks. This is my sienna, my burnt umber, my Payne's gray, and my shadow color. Just putting those marks on the rocks. Wherever you see shadows, that's where you add your shadows. So if you see a darker color, try to match that color. It doesn't have to be the exact same color, but as long as you match it, it's gonna look really nice. I'm just adding the sienna color, and then I'm applying some of the turquoise with some green, and it's gonna give you this beautiful kind of greenish color inside the water. It's gonna make your rocks look like they're inside the water, not on top of the water. And I'm adding some more shadows to the left hand side. Same thing, just adding the sienna, then the burnt umber, and then the Payne's gray. Then I'm adding my shadow to the water. As I see in the picture, there's some shadows there from the trees. So I'm just applying that. Really light on the color. I'm using my Serenium blue and just a touch of my green. And it's gonna give you this beautiful, super light, turquoisey, greeny color. Really light. As you see on my palette, it is super light. This is just to give some shadows into the water, kind of like ripples in the water. That's where we're trying to place in that. And if you put too much, just clean your brush, bring some water, and remove some of the paint. And just move your brush around to give those textures onto the water. And you can put as many as you want or as little as you want. And I'm just doing some dry brush in there, bringing some more texture, and then I'm applying a second layer of the same color. Remember, when it dries, it kind of fade away, so I'm bringing those colors back into the water, and I'm applying some of the same color on top of my rocks. Just to make it feel that it's more underwater. Bring in those shadows and the movement in the water. Remember, these lines that I'm putting on top is just give that movement to your water. Then I'm going to be using bleed proof white. You can use acrylics or you can use wash. And this is just to give those highlights onto your water. I'm making ovals on top of my water, and then I'm going to be taking a paper napkin, removing some of that paint, excess paint, We don't want those hard lines. We want it really, really smooth. So I'm gonna be removing some of that extra paint. And I'm just wiggling my brush, making those semi ovals into the water. Really, really simple. I will not use a Sharpie here because it's just going to give you thicker lines and then you will not be able to remove that. So make sure you use acrylics, or you use wash, or you use the bleed proof white. Adding those lines around the stones for the movement of the water. When the water hits the rocks, you see kind of foam on the water. So that's what we're applying right now. Going around the rocks, really, really thin lines. And then I'm doing some flicking, just putting those textures on my water, and it's just the white color. And I'm wiggling my brush in some areas, and in some areas I'm using my dry brush technique. Dry brush, that means you're gonna pick up some paint. You don't pick up any water, and just put the paint on top of the paper, like scraping your paper. And that's what I'm doing right now, scraping off the paper. And that's gonna give you beautiful texture on your water. And then I'm wiggling my brush to give those tiny, tiny little lines inside the water. Now I'm gonna add some more shadows that kind of fade away. And I'm just bringing those back into the water. And that's just Payne's Gray and ultramarine blue with a touch of Serenium blue. Bringing those marks in some random areas where you see the shadows from the trees. Putting those on the water. And whenever you put too much, just use your paper towel. Your paper towel is going to be your best friend today. Removing those excess water, colors of water. And then I'm applying this also on the sand. We're doing the final details. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on my next one. Take care, friends. Bye bye for now.